It's showtime.
What's up, guys? Django Fett here, back with another podcast with my good friend, Captain Awesome.
Hey guys, what's up?
So, to get ready for The Last Jedi, let's talk about The Force Awakens and break it down. So, I've already done a review, Cap's already done a review, so, make sure to check those out on our channels, and I'll make sure to put links for Cap's channel in the description down below. But basically, I want to start from the beginning, very beginning of the film, break it down towards the end, so all the way towards the end. Where do we start with this movie?
Okay, how does this rehash start? So, yeah.
Yeah, so it's, as many of you know, and pretty much everybody's seen the movie by now, a million times.
Unless you've been under a rock.
Unless you've been under a rock. But it's pretty much directed by J.J. Abrams, stars the cast, Finn and Rey, Kylo Ren, Han Solo, Chewbacca, Leia, the original actors of the original trilogy, and Luke being at the very end, and I'll address that
for like
at the end.
1 minute.
Exactly. But I want to start from the beginning. So it's pretty much a New Hope reimagined, a New Hope 2.0.
Yeah.
There's nothing really special about the film. It just started off this new Disney franchise that I believe that has just gone downhill from there.
Yeah.
So, in the beginning of the film, we have Poe, played by
Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaacs, being this charismatic rogue, pilot, much like Wedge Antilles in a way, confronting Max von Sydow character. But eventually, he gets killed in like 5 minutes. This right here is the beginning of the problems, because Max is one of the greatest actors of all time, and reducing him to a 5-minute role and just killing his character right away, that's like a slap in the face to him.
It's like a waste of potential, yeah.
A wasted potential completely. And it's a shame, because he's just a phenomenal actor. Alright, so next we have BB-8 has the plans for Luke Skywalker for some reason. This was a weird plot element that didn't really make any sense in the movie. Plans for Luke Skywalker. Do you want to address this?
The thing is, it's like, we're talking about the opening sequence. Where the First Order comes down with Kylo Ren and they attack the village, and how, the droid has a message and they, run off and escape while everybody else gets captured and people die. It's so similar to the whole opening sequence in A New Hope, when Darth Vader, enters the ship and everything and stuff, and, captures Leia, and she, big C-3PO and R2-D2 escape, and they go to Tatooine, and it's, and I do get what you're saying. It's true. Like, I think we'll get to it later, where the whole in its secret message or map or whatever the hell it is that's in BB-8's. But at the same time, it was kind of like, I don't know, even from the opening sequence, you can kind of see where Abrams is going with all this. There's nothing really creative and new or original with it. It's just, let's play it safe, and let's just remind people of what they love. Stormtroopers and lightsabers and, droids with messages and everything. So, yeah.
Yeah, and pretty much this new cast is playing off the original cast. And we have Kylo Ren, who is this new supposedly Darth Vader of sorts.
Darth Vader wannabe, yeah.
Oh god. He's just a dumb recreation of Revan, and I'll address his character later on. But I will say this. At first, he seems fine. With the mask, he's fine. But as soon as he takes it off, he becomes one of the worst villains of all time.
Yeah, I have to fully agree with you, bro. It's here's the thing. With him with the mask on, I could tolerate him. I thought, you know what? He's kind of okay. He's kind of a decent villain. Who knows? Maybe he'll grow and become better and more impressive and interesting as time goes on in the trilogy. But then, obviously, something happens along the way, and he takes off the mask, as you said, and then he just becomes the most whiniest bitch I've ever seen. And it was like, this is our new villain of the trilogy.
And we'll be talking about him quite a lot. But right away, he is fine, but it will later go downhill quickly from there.
Yeah, and I feel sorry for the consoles, if you get what I mean. So
yeah. So I'm going off quite a lot of notes that I wrote down, so I'm trying to go down them as quickly as possible. So the next one is Finn, an instant defector to the rebels, and someone who's never seen combat but has been indoctrinated and trained to be a trooper. Yeah. But he becomes an instant defector, which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that doesn't really make any sense, because last time I checked, all the stormtroopers are brainwashed to follow the same rules, the same mythology and everything, so what makes him so different to everybody else? So I agree with you there.
Yeah. The one of many plot holes to come in this movie. Okay, so after that, we have, you know, him saving Poe Dameron for some reason, because he wants an out from the Empire, and he sees him as a what is it, like a getaway?
Yeah, getaway ally.
Yeah, pretty much. It's not. It just. I don't get it. I really don't understand that element.
You know what, the thing that okay, you know when you obviously first watch a movie, and, you know, obviously it happens all at once, and, you know, you either enjoy it or hate it or whatever, and it, you know, obviously later on it takes you time to let it sink in and understand what you're watching and everything afterwards, but I remember when I thought about it afterwards, like, 2 years later after The Force Awakens, and I realized that whole Poe and Finn scene where they, you know, escape the First Order and everything, they're suddenly buddies, doesn't really make any sense at all, because one, they just met each other. Why would Poe trust him instantly? Like, he could be setting you up for a trap, and they're best buddies, and it just doesn't make any logical sense, so I agree with what you're saying now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the theme of this movie is there's no logic whatsoever.
Yeah. Hashtag no logic.
So from there, they crash onto this desert world called Jakku, which is one of the most boring worlds I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It is just a straight-up desert world, just like Tatooine, but the difference being, Tatooine was fucking interesting. There was a lot of shit that was going on, but Jakku is just like, it's like a flat desert with fucking nothing.
Yeah, it's basically like Egypt, but with no pyramids or anything interesting at all, as you said. Like, Tatooine had loads of stuff going for it. It had the canteen, it had, you know, Jabba the Hutt, had all this really interesting stuff. But Jakku, like, what was that? Like, you remember that CGI monster that was like drinking at the I can't remember. I think it was like the pond or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, that was one of the only things that was there, and then you had the guy who was basically, like, you know, asking for credits and all that stuff, and I'm like, is that really it? There's nothing really, like, that's what I'm talking about with this movie, there's nothing really, no creative ideas. Just boring, as you said, and Tatooine, as we were just saying, had loads of variety, loads of interesting stuff to do with that planet. On the other hand, this one is really bland. There's just, you know, nothing really there. Plus, also another thing, it didn't really look like there was barely anything on the planet. Like, it just looked like, you remember that one place where Rey is? That's it. And there was nothing else. It was really weird.
Okay, and then we have BB-8. At first, when I first saw the movie, I thought it was a pretty dumb design, and I still think it's a dumb design. It's just not very logical, in my opinion. But it's fine now. I'm dealing with it. It's whatever.
BB-8, I thought for me, BB-8's alright. I don't mind the character, or should I say the droid. You know, whatever, you know, it's basically, it's for the kids, you know what I mean? It's for the toy sales and all that stuff. But at the same time, it's a rip-off of, like, RTD2. So, yeah, but, you know, I can tolerate, you know, let's say BB-8. It's not as bad as, like, fucking General Hux and Captain Phasma and all that bloody shit. But we'll get to that later on.
Yeah. So, yeah. I also want to get back to Finn as well, because he betrays the Empire, but I remember Phasma talking, and he said that, or she said that, this is his first offense. So there was no, like, really outliers beforehand, but as soon as he sees battle, this is, like, truly the thing that changes him, and not the previous battles or anything else he's seen before. It's just this is his first battle, this is his first offense. That doesn't add up.
Yeah, like, and the thing is as well, another thing that doesn't really make any sense to me, do you remember the opening sequence where Kylo Ren sees Finn, like, not acting like a soldier and everything, like, you know, how everyone has to stay in line and act professional?
Yeah.
Like, how did Kylo Ren, like, knowing Darth Vader or someone like that, they would have gone up to him, either, one, put him back in line, or, you know, he could have been an example to show the others, like, what happens if you don't stay in line, like, he could have killed him or done something, and that was the part that was really dumb. It's like, Kylo Ren saw him acting weird before he escaped, but he didn't do anything about it. And even Phasma, it's like, I don't know, it's just like, what? That's not how, like, these dictatorship, like, armies work and everything the last time I checked, so, I don't know.
Now, when all that goes on with Finn and Rey and they meet up, they escape from the planet with the Millennium Falcon, and,
which is, like, just magically there, by the way.
Yeah,
as well.
just magically there. And they have, like, this big chase sequence with the fighters chasing one another with the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty cool scene. I actually did like the action somewhat.
Yeah.
It's pretty much flashy action that appeals to the masses.
Well, that's, you know, that's what Abrams always been good at. I know he knows how to shoot a great action sequence. That's one of his talents. He's an action director, so yeah.
And that's like the trend of the Star Wars movies: flashy action, but absolutely no substance or creativity.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
And we'll get to some of the movies like that too later on.
Yeah.
But you know, with the Millennium Falcon, we also have Han Solo and Chewbacca. And this is a big plus too. This is actually one of the best things to come out for the movie by far.
Mm.
With them, yeah, as well as the original actor for Leia, you know, premiering in the film, and they did a pretty good job. Especially Han Solo, Harrison Ford. He did a great job with his character.
Yeah.
So I will give it that. That's one of the biggest positives.
The one thing I will say, though, you know, obviously they did really good, the original trilogy actors and stuff, but you know how we were just mentioning the chase in Jakku with the Millennium Falcon? This is one of where the whole Mary Sue thing comes into, and the, you know, the whole no logic thing comes into play.
Oh yeah.
Rey just gets in the Millennium Falcon and starts flying a spaceship, and as we saw, she's basically, by the looks of it, been on Jakku for her entire life, and she's not really trained to do any fighting, flying any spaceships or anything. But she can magically just do it without being told what to do or anything. It just, that's what I'm talking about this film. It's just so, like, it's a bad fan fiction. Let's just say that, whoever did the script. So, yeah. But yeah, I agree with you. You know, Harrison Ford was solid. Chewie, it was great to see him again. We got to see Carrie Fisher, hashtag rest in peace. And, you know, they all did good in their roles for what they were. So yeah.
That's like the one of the only few positives I will name. Them respecting the original cast.
Yeah.
Maybe not their characters, but the cast definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. Indeed.
And just throughout the movie, with Rey, Finn, not so much with Han Solo and Chewbacca and the original cast, but some just really bad dialogue and writing throughout the movie.
Yeah. And the thing about the dialogue, this is the thing that I've had many discussions with many people over 2 years with The Force Awakens, and I'm gonna ask you a question, Django. Did you feel like this movie, at times when it came to dialogue sequences and everything, it didn't feel like Star Wars? Because to me, it didn't.
It didn't.
Oh, yeah, it felt really weird. Like, what was your thoughts on that with the dialogue?
It was just corny for the sake of being corny, and without any heart to it, like it was with the original trilogy and even the prequels.
Yeah.
The prequels had quite a lot of cheesy dialogue, but I felt like it was executed fine and worked for the films. But this one, however, it just doesn't work, and it just really shows, and it just adds up to the problems with the film.
Yeah, indeed, yeah.
And we have Cap's favorite scene, the Maz Kanata. I call it Kanta. Pretty much like the recreation of the cantina scene from episode 4, but it was like times 10. And they just like played that for like 10 minutes in the movie. I think it was like only 5 minutes, but still, it felt like quite a long time just to feature like this dumb scene that's pointless.
It was just
Nostalgia.
The whole mess, yeah, the whole Mass Cantor thing with the canteen and all that stuff. It was just pure nostalgia porn, and it was just like, oh, you know. And then you can tell, no offense to half the audience, but half the audience, as we know, moviegoers are that dumb that they're going to be like, oh my god, it's the canteen scene. I remember that from Star Wars back in the day, and this is what it appeals to. It appeals all the people that are just that love the nostalgia porn of the original trilogy and everything. Look, I love the original trilogy too, but I also love originality, and that's the problem with this film. There is none of that. Now, we are obviously about to get to a scene that was very interesting to do with the canteen scene, and that was the whole vision thing, basically, that Rey has. So we'll get into that now.
Yeah, so Rey, for some reason, suddenly hears a voice, and she goes down into the basement of the cantina. She sees a lightsaber and instantly gets a vision inside a cantina. I did not like this scene whatsoever. There was some cool things that, you know, are revealed, but I felt like it was random.
Yeah, I feel like with the scene, do you want to know what it is? I think as a scene, it was kind of like, do you know what it reminded me of? This vision sequence. It kind of reminded me of like Batman v Superman, where there was like all these random nightmare sequences with Bruce Wayne. And it's just in it. It's out of place. It's just randomly in the movie. It doesn't really have anything to do with the film. It's just, and also another thing. Why was the lightsaber just sitting there in the canteen the whole time?
What is she doing? What is Maz doing with it? Like, there is so much that is not explained in the film, and they're like, "Oh, just read the books." Like, at least with the prequels, they do a good job of explaining most of the stuff. And you can read books later on. But still, you understood the gist of the whole film, no matter what.
Yeah.
This one, you just don't get what the heck's going on.
Yeah, and the thing is as well, this is the problem I have with the new era of Disney with Star Wars. It's like, you know how they're doing all these novels and comic books that are kind of like explaining origins and certain things that are not explained in the movies, like Rogue One, The Force Awakens, and others. This is the thing, though. I shouldn't need to read a novel or a comic book to watch a movie. All that information should be in the movie. I think the last time I checked why the Expanded Universe was awesome is because it was separate stories that were standalones, if you get what I mean, that were, in different eras and different times to the movies. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a mess.
But when everything's a universe, it's all gotta connect. So, yeah.
I heard that in December, they're supposed to connect with The Last Jedi with, like, I may be wrong, I may get the number wrong, but like 10 to 20 novels and books.
Like that, yeah.
That's ridiculous. That's utter insanity. How are you supposed to keep track of that shit?
Like, you have, like, just let that sink in. You have to read about 10, 15, or 20 novels just to understand one frickin' movie.
That's wrong. That is so wrong. Yeah, like, even with the prequels, they had books that came out, like, a year or 2 years later. And they were, like, not like all of a sudden like 10, 20 books in 1 month alone. That's utter insanity.
And the thing is, as well, like the prequel novels and, you know, novels with like to do with the other eras of Star Wars, like they were, you know, yeah, they had something to do with the movies, but at the same time, it was kind of like standalone stories, if you get what I mean. Like they told their own story, which, you know, was either referenced in the movies or wasn't, and that was what was quite cool about those novels or comic books. They were standalones, so yeah.
Yeah, and oh man, it's just a mess. This whole new expanded universe thing, or whatever it's called, Disneyverse,
the new canon or whatever, yeah,
is a mess. I've witnessed it firsthand, so.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, we move on to the next scene with your favorite character, General Hux. With the iconic speech, one of the best speeches of all time, on the Ultra Super Omega Death Star.
He was like, what do they call it? The Star Killer?
Star Killer base, yeah.
Oh my god, I feel so sorry for all the people that love, you know, The Force Unleashed. They stole Thingy's name from the games, so yeah. But and the thing is, dude, the guy General Hux looks like he's pissing himself or crying because he's like, "This is the final day of the Republic," and I was just like, "Oh my god, what the hell is this movie?" Just yeah. But and then, you know, obviously they destroy the planets, and I'm like, "Oh, where have I seen this before?" So yeah. And then obviously I think it doesn't Kylo Ren come down with the stormtroopers, and there's that big battle or something. I can't remember.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to address that right now. So Poe was supposedly dead in the desert, or the Jakku or whatever.
Yeah,
and then he comes back later on in this battle. And for some... I didn't get that. They never
no
explained
explanation.
It.
Yeah, no explanation. How did he survive? Where did he get a ship to actually go back to, you know, what are they called actually? Are they called the Rebellion again, or are they called something else in this new canon? I don't know.
Fucking know.
I don't know, but yeah, you know, he got back with Leia, he got in a, you know, a ship and everything, and he saved the day, Poe, and I was like, okay, well, there was no explanation of where the hell he came from and how he survived. So maybe a novel will go into, oh wait, they probably did, so yeah.
It's pretty weird, because I thought at first, when I first watched the movie, Poe was one of the best characters. But honestly, seeing it again, there's nothing to his character, and he's actually pretty boring.
The thing about it is, with me with Poe, it's like, I don't hate him, but I don't love him.
There's
not
you know what I
mean?
much
it's
to
kind
it.
of like, yeah. It's like, okay, the way he talks, okay, I can get why people would like him. He's got a bit of, like a little bit of charisma to him, but then again, there's nothing, you don't know anything about him. And I feel like that's kind of like what makes it where he could be an awesome character, but the thing is, I just don't know anything to really make me emotionally connected. So yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of characters like that.
Like everyone in this movie is like that, okay. So yeah.
No explanation behind them either. Honestly, I still don't find this film worse than, like, the worst Star Wars film.
We all know what your worst one
I think
is,
most people
so, yeah.
know what it is. It's the next one after that. But this one is... it's bearable.
Yeah.
After seeing it a third time now. With that being said, let's now talk about Kylo Ren.
Oh, come on, bro. We have to talk about Kylo.
Okay, so he captures... what's her name? Rey. And he takes off his mask in front of her. This is where his character falls apart completely.
Yep.
Describe
how you feel about, you know, a certain moment that happens, bro, in the scene.
Oh boy, yeah, I'm about to get to that.
Okay.
So he did this earlier. Ren did this thing earlier, where he did like this torture scene. He put his hand out and he got the information from Poe. So he's doing it again with Rey, and Ren puts his hand in front of Rey, And for some reason, Rey knows how to fight back immediately with no known skill of ability, and this is what makes her a Mary Sue.
Yep.
To use it beforehand, and now she's like an expert Force user. And I find that scene so cringeworthy. And plus, if you take out the weird sound effect, and it's cringy times 1,000. Holy shit.
It's so awkward, isn't it? It's like just them. It's like they're both staring at each other in an intense way. And it's just like, is this some really bad Star Wars porn parody or something I'm watching right now? Just that's what it came off to me like that. But yeah, it didn't really make any sense. And the last time I checked, like, you know, obviously we're about to get to Rey with her powers and all this bullshit and everything. But last time I checked, you had to train to be able to use the Force and be able to fight with a lightsaber, and also another thing and it took years. It didn't take days or hours or, you know, minutes to do it. It's just, there's no logic, and it kind of contradicts the whole mythology and lore of Star Wars as universe in this movie. Just, yeah.
Yeah, I just, so, here's the thing with her character. So she has this vision in the basement. She suddenly finds out she has Force powers. She gets captured after this battle, and she fights back against Ren. And then for some reason she knows how to do Force mind control, and talks to this stormtrooper to let her go. And
who by the way is James Bond.
Yeah, who's James Bond? And it's just like, how does she know how to do this? How does she even know what mind control and how to do any of the Force abilities in the first place?
Dude, at the end of the day, like, I'm trying to, like, yeah.
It's brilliant writing.
Yeah, it's just incredible, man. It's like, oh, just J.J. Abrams and Disney and Kathleen Kennedy. Oh, what an incredible studio right now. What an incredible team that made this movie. Of how dumb it is, but yeah, dude, I don't know. It's just a bad fan fiction to me, and it just, as I said, it just contradicts everything that we know and love about Star Wars. You know, and okay, the whole thing. I'm gonna do an example now. I'm gonna see if you agree with me. You know, right? Okay, say I don't know. I didn't know how to drive a car, right? And I just got in a car and I just started driving it perfectly. That's basically Rey in this movie. She doesn't know how to do anything at all, but she just starts doing it, and she's just in it straight away. Perfection at everything. That does not make any logical sense. It's just unrealistic. It's just really stupid. I don't know what the hell they were thinking when they were thinking of this or planning it out. I don't know. But what do you think?
It's terrible writing at the end of the day, and they were just glancing over the script. They're like, oh yeah, that sounds good. Let's just put that in there. Let's not even worry about how it sounds and how it executes. Just put it out there. People will love it. They'll eat it up, and people did.
Yeah, the dummies will love it. So yeah.
And then I'll get to the fight later on.
Oh god.
But pretty much with Ren, another big criticism with him is that he's one of the biggest crybabies I've ever seen on the film, like in a film in general. This is not how a Sith Lord acts. I just don't understand that.
Yeah, like a Sith Lord is meant to be very intimidating, very cool, very badass, very dark as a character. And this guy, what does he do? Every time he gets angry, he just has little tantrums like a baby and destroys consoles. That's Kylo Ren. So, yeah.
Oh, and then he, he kills Han Solo as well, spoilers. It was just so predictable.
Yeah, that whole sequence, the moment they're on a bridge, and the moment there's no music in it, and they're like, I'm just thinking, okay, he's gonna kill him, and then Rey's gonna go, no! Like, you know, how Darth Vader killed Obi-Wan Kenobi in A New Hope, where Luke was the one that yelled no, so I was like, yeah, they're just, more nostalgia porn, so yeah.
Yeah, it just seems like Adam Driver in general is terrible. I after this movie, I fucking hated this guy, and Cap will attest to that. I did not want to see a single fucking movie that this guy was in because of how fucking terrible he was in this movie.
Yeah, Django really didn't want to watch anything with him at all. It didn't even matter if it was Star Wars or non-Star Wars. It was that bad. So yeah.
But I will say that I watched Silence a couple months ago, and he starred in that movie, and that was a great fucking movie, and he had a great performance as well. I will say that.
Yeah.
That's the only movie because it's a Scorsese film, so I had to see it.
Well, you gotta expect great things from Martin Scorsese. So yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think Adam Driver is terrible as the villain. Some of his lines were like, when he battles with Rey, he's like, "I can show you the ways of the Force." And that's literally how he sounds. That's literally how he sounds.
He sounds so depressed, doesn't he? It's like he's just like this character where he's like, you know, I can take anything I want. That's the way he sounds, and it's like, oh my god, you're so fucking boring. Jesus, like, add some, either try to be intimidating or add some charisma to who you are as your character. That's the problem with this movie. There's just no one interesting. Well, actually, then again, there's like no one with actual characters. So, yeah.
Oh man. So, here's the thing about the film. So the first half is, it's fine. It's whatever. The second half of the movie is when it gets really bad.
Yeah.
But the last 45 minutes, or I think it's 30 minutes, is just plain fucking horrendous. The last battle with Kylo Ren, Finn, and Rey is horrible. It's a fucking clusterfuck.
Okay, the final battle with those three involved, obviously, as we know, Finn gets like destroyed really quickly. But funny thing is about Rey, as we know, she's never holded a lightsaber in her entire life. It's the first time, and then you just look at it and you go, my intelligence is being insulted right now. Because last time I checked, lightsaber or sword or whatever universe it is, medieval universe, whatever, swordsmanship is very hard to learn and master. It takes years of training. So for her to just be able, as I said before, to pick up a lightsaber or fly a spaceship or whatever, it's dumb. You can't do that. Like, I don't care if it's an unrealistic universe or a realistic grounded universe. You still need training, or unless, you know, people know you've already trained. Just, and then the villain, the so-called villain of this new trilogy, gets defeated by Rey, who has no training, and it's just like, what? Well, that was easy. Like, yeah.
Here's the thing. Before that even happened, Finn manages to hurt Rey, or Ren, which makes even little sense to that, because he has no force abilities. He's just swinging the lightsaber, and he somehow beats, like, just hurts a Ren who is trained and experienced in the Force and how to use a lightsaber. He fucking, it hurts him. And yeah, he gets shot, and he does this weird thing where he's like beating his chest and blood comes out, and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? This is fucking stupid.
Okay, the thing about that, this is where people have tried to defend it, but actually it faces a contradiction. Okay, you know how people say when he hits himself, it's to make himself more, like, you know, pain gives the Sith Lords or some new made-up bullshit mythology that it makes them stronger and more powerful? Well, then again, though, when he was getting his ass kicked by Rey, why is it he was getting weaker then? It's like, he was just getting his ass whooped and everything, and I'm like, well, if he's feeling pain, then he should be getting stronger then. Or he should just hit himself again to get stronger. It's just, as I said, every logical thing in this movie is out the window. Let's just say that.
And with the fight with Rey, so she gets beaten up pretty quickly, but she focuses, closes her eyes, and she's a fucking master. It fucking happens. She's like a 1 hour noob, or like maybe less than that. And somehow she beats an experienced knight.
Who's trained by Luke Skywalker, apparently, and the so-called Great Wise Supreme Leader Snoke.
And then, you know, Snoke later on said, oh, now we have to complete the training of Ren. Then why didn't you fucking do it earlier?
I don't know. maybe he just thought he's a retard, and I don't want to complete his training. I don't know.
Also, can I mention the soundtrack too? It's pretty forgettable and dumb.
Yeah.
It's the same as the original trilogy, but with no life.
Yeah.
I just there was no heart to it.
There was like nothing in it memorable, like the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy, you know, soundtracks. It was just really bland and I don't know. Just yeah, I agree with you. It was dead.
And as much as people want to give the prequels shit, I will say that the prequels have the best soundtracks out of all of the Star Wars movies, by far.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I will defend the prequels on that to my dying breath.
To his dying breath, Lord Vader. So yeah.
And then towards the end, R2-D2 was magically brought back to life to help show the piece for BB-8 and to show where Luke was. But why the heck would Luke have a map to where he was? I still don't get.
Yeah, I don't know. And then obviously, as we know, Rey gets in the Millennium Falcon with Chewie, and you know they go obviously to the island, the planet where Luke's on, and then there's Luke does that intense stare and everything, as we know, when he turns around, and it just ends with basically, Rey gets the lightsaber out, like, basically saying, please train me, basically in, visual storytelling wise, I mean, not in dialogue. But, and then the movie ends, and it's like, well, that made no sense, that whole movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I actually watched the movie twice in theaters. I actually enjoyed my experience the first time around. Second time, there were a lot of problems that I noticed, and I had a score of 4 out of 5 for the movie. Okay, pretty high score. But honestly, looking back at the film, it's extremely dated in almost every way, and I would honestly change it to a 3 out of 5, and honestly, a 2 out of 5.
Yeah.
Just for all the flaws that we're mentioning. It's just that bad of a film. Cap, what would you give it?
I remember when I first watched it 2 years ago, like we all did, and I really enjoyed my cinema experience. It was great. It was the overwhelming return of Star Wars. I was excited and I was happy. Then obviously the more I let it sink in, the more I thought about it, the more I watched it, over 2 years, multiple viewings, and talked about it with many people, I started seeing loads of problems, and I started realizing I wasn't enjoying this movie as much as the first time. So the movie, with my first rating, I don't know, it was either an 8 or 9 out of 10 or something when I first watched it, or something like that. But now, I gotta admit, I'm gonna make my rating go down because of all the flaws and how this movie doesn't make any logical sense. Plus, this movie is incredibly unoriginal and just, lacks. There's no risks, nothing creative, no risks being taken, just being very lazy and playing it safe. So I'm gonna give the rating now for this movie, especially, not living the test of time, to be honest, too good, and just, being forgettable 2 years later. I'm gonna give it, from that, to a 5 out of 10. I'm actually gonna go down really that low, where it's kind of like it's not completely terrible. I can still watch it, it's watchable, but it is not that great either. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the middle, 2, 3 out of 5, so it's like, like 5 out of 10, 4 out of 10, something like that. It's fine in the beginning, and then it just falls apart towards the end.
Yeah.
But even
and
then,
also, the movie, it's like everyone remembers it was very overrated in the beginning. Like everyone was like, going crazy for the movie 2 years ago when it first came out and all this shit and stuff. And then obviously 2 years later, it's like the most hated Star Wars movie of all time now. Like people would say, oh, what about Rogue One? But Rogue One, yeah, that's hated too now at this point, but nah, The Force Awakens, I think it's a bit more personal, because, you know, this movie was a full-out rehash of a movie we all know and love from decades ago. Rogue One was just nostalgia porn and an unnecessary action movie, so yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, thinking about it now, what could be worse, Rogue One or The Force Awakens? I'm still gonna say Rogue One for now, but they're both still messy movies.
Yeah, I think they're both bad. Okay, here's the thing. Because I like to do it where I look at 3 different point of views. I like to look in the hardcore fan point of view, the critic point of view, and kind of like the general public point of view. So, I guess if you're, I don't know, if you're a moviegoer from the general public, I guess it's that type of movie you can enjoy it for what it is. But if you're a Star Wars fan, and you're a critic who likes logic and, you know, and substance in your movies, you're gonna hate The Force Awakens, and also Rogue One too, so yeah.
Yeah. So with that being said, that's pretty much our thoughts on The Force Awakens. But before we end this video, let's talk about what we can expect from The Last Jedi. So basically our predictions, and just go over it.
Yeah, you want to go first, bro?
Why don't you go first?
Okay, I'll go first. Okay, I've seen the 2 trailers. The teaser and also the trailer that came out a few weeks ago. I don't know. The problem with me with the movie is it's already screaming out in the merchandise, the posters, and everything, especially the footage. You know, a rehash of Empire Strikes Back. There's so many things. Like, I think I saw the ATTs, there's the snow planets, there's, you know, this big, you know, battle at the end between, I think, you know, what is it, Snoke and Rey and all this stuff, and that's kind of reminded me of, like, Darth Vader and Luke and stuff. I don't know, there's just all this stuff going on that's kind of hinting already at the rehash, which, you know, I was hoping for something actually fresh and original, but then again, we're talking about Disney. And overall, the reason I didn't like too much the second trailer is because it gave away so much. Yeah. Like, it spoiled the entire final act. And that's why I'm like, well, then again, that's what happens with most trailers now these days. So many trailers are either got shit music or just shitty quality, or are just spoiling too much. So at the moment, I'm skeptical. I'm still hoping for at least a good original film. But then again, I know Kathleen Kennedy, I know Disney, the way they're doing all the nostalgia porn of the original trilogy. I'm mainly expecting another rehash, but that's just me.
So, yeah, I'm with you totally on that. Like, I'm expecting a recreation of Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back, and playing it safe.
Yeah.
And even though it's directed by
Rian
Johnson, he has a good rapport because of one movie alone, and that's The Looper. But to judge him alone because of one great movie and nothing else before that doesn't mean he gets a pass like J.J. Abrams and he'll instantly make a memorable great movie. I don't see that. I think Disney is controlling this whole project, so I think this is going to be pretty much the same as The Force Awakens in almost every way. Filled with problems, nostalgia, porn, and just a bunch of just flashy, outrageous combat and stupid made-up scenes that don't add up in the film.
Yeah, an action. It's gonna be an action fest with no substance. Let's just say that. Yeah.
And I just feel like the movie and the Disney movies in general are just made for like the short attention moviegoers, not like the hardcore fans or people who want to see smart, you know, creative movies.
I feel like another problem with the Disney era of Star Wars is there's just so much studio interference. Like, they're not letting these directors, like Abrams, whatever, we all know he's a hack, so, you know, whatever with him. But with Gareth Edwards of Rogue One, and obviously Rian Johnson and some of these other directors, I don't know, like, we're hearing the stories about Rogue One about how, you know, Gareth Edwards had a different vision, and then he had to do all the reshoots and change the movie fully, and it apparently sounded very stressful working with Disney, and then obviously now Rian Johnson, there's, you know, obviously, look, the guy can make an original movie, but then again, this is Disney, and they're going to want to make, look, he's not. I don't think he's making the movie he wants to make. I think he's making the movie Disney wants him to make. If you get what I mean. So it's not really an independent Star Wars movie. It's more a studio Star Wars movie. If you get what I mean.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
Totally agree. It's just
yeah.
It's gonna end up being a mess, and I think like over time, especially with the Han Solo film next year, people. I've been saying this for quite some time. Even with spin-off films, especially with the spin-off films, people are gonna start hating Star Wars and not coming out to see them. Like, no matter how great the marketing is, over time, with the yearly releases, people are gonna fucking hate them.
Yeah.
And not want to come out and go see your movie. This is just gonna bite them in the ass in the end.
Yeah, like, the thing that made Star Wars so special was when the original trilogy came out decades ago and the prequel trilogy over 10 years ago, it felt like a special event because the trilogies in it happened every once in a while, every few decades. With Disney doing one Star Wars film every year, it's just killing the magic of what made Star Wars special, and it's just going to make everyone sick of seeing Star Wars 24/7. And remember what they say, you can only take something so much until you get bored of it. And that's what's going to happen with Star Wars. And I'm already seeing people complain about how there's too much Star Wars, like oversaturation right now with Disney, so yeah.
Yeah, it's just going to be a slow death of the franchise, which is a shame.
Yeah, it's a shame.
But yeah, I think we pretty much got everything with these movies, and we will definitely be watching The Last Jedi for sure. Hopefully we can do a podcast as well. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that would be fun.
We probably have to watch the movie multiple times to break down the movie, but I definitely think we should probably do a podcast for that as well.
Yeah, I'll be down for that. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. I know it's gone like pretty long, but I think it's worth, noting all of the things that were good and bad with The Force Awakens and what we can expect from the new movie as well. But thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to please like this video, comment down below, tell me what you think of The Force Awakens, and please be sure to check out Cap's channel. Link will be down below in the description. Please check it out. He's a great guy. Please check it out.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. But check out my YouTube channel and my official Twitter. It's in the links in the description. And also check out Django, of course, like on his other social medias too, because he's a bastard.
Don't promote me on my own video. Come on.
Come on, you slacked. But yeah.
Well, appreciate you guys watching. Hope you guys have a good one. Let us know what you think of The Force Awakens in the comments section below, and what you think we can expect from The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
So we'll see you guys on the next podcast.
Alright, bye guys.
See you guys.